Hello friends, I am Lakshmikant. Hope you all are fine, my dear. Dear, in this very topic, I am going to tell you about the mind map of unit. This one unit is what, my dear? Second unit, that is chapter number 6, my dear. That is a structural organization in animals. So, see, dear, in this very topic, I am going to tell you about the mind map. It means that the mind map is only the concise things that whatever you have to be studying, but here there's something that is reduced in your topic also. Clear? So what the topic is reduced, my dear, that thing is very important to know here first. Here the topic is that the frog is what deleted. So the portion the frog we have to be not to be study here. Here we have to be study which one thing, that is only about the cockroach. Okay, and the some little bit having what their structures and their features, my dear, right? So see, so how we should have to be start this one thing. So first of all, we should have to be keep in mind that what the structural organization means. Structural organization means that the organisms which has proper defined structure, which is they made up of. And we all know that in previous lecture, in the previous mind map, I was told you about the animal plant tissue. Am I right? So here it is very important to know here about the animal tissue, my dear, the first. Okay, and then after we have to be go to a particular animals and to know about their structural organization, correct? So first of all, you should must have to be clear here that what is animal tissue, my dear. And before we have to be know this one animal tissue, you also know the term, my you know the term tissue, my dear. Am I right? So the tissue term is clear. Tissue is means what the structural and functional. You know that the group of cell to perform a specific function is known as tissue. Am I right? So now see, if I'm going to tell you about the animal tissue, see, this animal tissue be further classified into how many parts? See here also the animal tissue classified into see, 4 parts. Number one, my dear, that is what? See, number one, that is what epithelial tissue, correct? Second one is what? Muscular tissue, right? Third one is what, my dear? Connective tissue. And fourth one is what? Neural tissue. Is that clear? Is that clear? So if anybody can ask you about that, how many types of animal tissue, then what do you say? Yes, this animal tissue classified into 4 parts. Let we see in a blank slide here. See what I'm going to write here. Wait for a moment. I want to change color here. See here, animal tissue classified into how many parts? Let's see here. The tissue term is clear. Group of cell to perform what? A specific function is known as what? Yes, animal tissue. See about the animal tissue. Animal tissue further classified into how many parts, my dear? 4 parts. Correct? Number one, that is what? Epithelial tissue. See what I'm writing here? Epithelial. You know the meaning of epithelial? Epithelial. Wait a moment. Wait for a moment. Epithelial. E-H. E-L-I-A-L. Epithelial tissue. Okay. Second one is what? After epithelial tissue, second one is what? Muscular tissue. Muscular tissue. Third one is what? Third one is, my dear, third one is what? Connective tissue. Third one is what? Connective tissue. And fourth one is what, my dear? That is neural tissue. Is that clear? Is that clear? So see what I'm saying here. This animal tissue classified into how many parts? 4 parts. Number one, epithelial tissue. Number two, muscular tissue. Number third, connective tissue. Number fourth one is what, my dear? Neural tissue. See in this one. So here the epithelial, muscular, connective, and neural tissue. Correct? In this mind map also. So now see. Then after knowing this classification, further we have to be know here that this epithelial tissue further be classified into how many parts? Into basically 2 parts. Clear? Clear? So what the two parts is, my dear? Number one, that is what simple. See here, this one is what simple, and second one is what compound, my dear. Clear? Is that getting what I'm saying? Simple and what? Compound. So see, here the simple further be divided into how many parts? Glandular tissue. See, this one is what? Glandular tissue. Second one is what? Squamous tissue. Third one is cuboidal tissue. Then after columnar tissue. Then after what? Ciliated tissue. Clear? Compound further doesn't divide. Clear? So simple and compound. So simple divided into how many? What? Squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium, glandular epithelium, and ciliated epithelium. Let's see. Let's see in the blank slide here. This epithelial tissue further be classified into how many parts, my dear? See, number one, that is what? Simple. Number one is what? Simple. And second one is what, my dear? Compound. Because this classification is very important to know. First you know the classification, then after we go through detail in this all very classification. Correct? This simple tissue, simple epithelial tissue further be classified into how many parts, my dear? 5 parts. There. Number one, that is a squamous. Let's see first what the classification, then after we go through in little bit details. But in mind map we need not to go in very details, but classification we have to be know here the first. Then after little bit some information is important to know here, and whenever I take a detailed class, then you know there all the things in very details. Okay, so squamous epithelium, then after what? Then after what? Cuboidal epithelium. Then after third one is what? Columnar epithelium. Fourth one is what? Ciliated epithelium. Ciliated epithelium. And last one is what? Glandular epithelium. What I'm saying? Glandular epithelium. See in this one. So see here the simple further be classified into how many parts? 5 parts, my dear. Correct? Is that clear? Is that clear? But the compound is not divided. Here only the what? Simple and compound. Clear? Clear? Now next one is what? Muscular tissue. Muscular tissue further be classified into how many parts, my dear? 3 parts. That is number one, first is skeletal, number two is smooth, and third one is what? Cardiac. It means that stated and non-stated as well as what? Cardiac. Let's see in a blank slide. Yes, here this muscular tissue further be classified into how many parts, my dear? See what I'm writing here. Number one is what? Stated muscle. See what I'm writing? Stated muscle. Second one is what? Unstated muscle. Unstated muscle. And third one is what, my dear? Cardiac muscle. Getting? This one is what? Cardiac muscle. So see, if I'm saying here about this stated muscle, it means what? The muscles which are in our control. The muscles, whenever I'm saying that the which in our control, it means that they are voluntary muscles, right? So see, if I'm saying here that this muscular tissue is further divided to 3 parts, that is stated, unstated, and cardiac. So see, this stated muscles is also known as what? A skeletal muscle, and non-stated muscle is also known as what? A smooth muscle. So stated muscle is also known as what? This one is also known as skeletal muscle, right? And this one is also known as what? A smooth muscles. A smooth muscles, or you say the what? Voluntary muscles or involuntary muscles also. So stated muscle is also known as what? Voluntary. And you know the meaning of voluntary? That very muscles which in our control, that very muscle is called voluntary muscles, while unstated muscle is known as what? Involuntary muscles. Correct? That very muscles which are not under our control or not under our will, my dear. Correct? Now the cardiac muscle, the muscles which is made up of heart. The heart is made up of which one muscle? Cardiac muscles. Correct? So see, If I'm saying here about the muscular tissue classified into how many parts? Three parts. Number one is skeletal, that is called stated. Number two is smooth, that is also called non-stated. And third one is what? That is cardiac muscles, my dear. Right? Now, after knowing these all things, further, this animal tissue classified another example, that is what? Connective tissue. So see, connective tissue. Connective tissue here means what? The muscles which connect with one another's, my dear. So see, if I'm saying here that the muscles which connect with one another's known as what? Connective tissue, my dear. Clear? See, number one, that is what? Fluid connective tissue. Number one is what? Fluid connective tissue, my dear. So see, if I'm saying here about the fluid connective tissue, let's see one by one in a blank slide, because in this very slide there is very zigzag. There is not a simple way to be classify this one thing. Now, here I'm going to classify the first here the connective tissue. See here, connective tissue. So first I'm going to classify this connective tissue. First I'm going to classify this connective tissue. Number one here. That is what? Fluid connective tissue. See what I'm writing here? Fluid connective tissue, my dear. So see, if I'm saying here to the fluid connective tissue, it means what? You know what this fluid connective tissue means? What? That, let's see first. Here the fluid connective tissue, my dear, it means that it further, fluid means what? The things that is flow, that is blood. You know, in a fluid connective tissue, it is classified into two parts. That is what? Blood. Number one is what? Blood. Second one is what, my dear? Second one is what? Lymph. One is blood, second one is what? Lymph, my dear. Lymph is also fluid, right? So see, this blood further be classified into how many parts? Number two, that is what? Number one, that is what? Plasma. Number one is what? Plasma. And second one is what? Formed elements. What I'm saying? Formed elements, my dear. Elements. Or you say what? The other one is what? Cellular elements. Formed elements you say, or you say what? Cellular elements. Is that clear? So see, whenever we go through that very chapter in class 11, that is body fluid and circulation, then there become a details, but little bit we have to be knowledge here also. The plasma further be divided into how many parts, my dear? You know, the plasma further be divided into three parts, my dear. Number one, that is water. That is water, major percentage of water, that is 90 to 92%. Number second, that is inorganic, and then after, the third one is what, my dear? Third one is what? Organic. Third one is what? Organic, my dear. Clear? That is 8 to 9%, and inorganic less than 1%. And this formed elements further be classified into how many parts, my dear? Three parts. Number one, that is what? RBCs. Second one is what? WBCs, white blood cells. And third one is what? My dear? Platelets. Clear? So see, the other name of RBC, you know what? RBC, other name is what? Erythrocytes. What I'm writing here? Erythrocytes. Clear? What the other name of WBC? That is leukocytes. Clear? What the other name of platelets? That is thrombocytes. What I'm writing here? Thrombocytes, my dear. Clear? Clear? So see, here the first time classification is here. So is it possible to learn? Yes, very easy to learn, my dear. When you have make a practice over this one thing, then this one is very easy to learn. This connective tissue, what? further divided into first I'm saying here, that is fluid connective tissue. And this fluid connective tissue, my dear, classified into two parts. That is, one is what blood, second one is what my lymph layer. Correct? So see, this blood further be classified into two parts, that is plasma, and second one is what formed elements, or you say the word cellular elements. This plasma, at how much percent plasma? If anybody can ask you about the plasma, plasma is also a fluid. So how much percent plasma is here? 55%. What I'm saying here, 55% here what plasma, and 45% here is what formed elements, or you say the cellular elements, my dear. Clear? So after that, this plasma containing what? Three. One is water, second inorganic, and third one is what? Organic. So water, how much percent is here? 90 to 92%, my dear. Correct? And what about the inorganic? Inorganic having containing only what? Less than 1%. Less than how much percent, beta? 1%. Clear? And organic, how much percent, beta? 8 to 9%, my dear. How much percent? 8 to 9%. Is that clear? Is that clear, my dear? Okay. So this one is the fluid connective tissue. Now move to the mind map here. Here, mind map. That the fluid connective tissue term is clear. Okay. So here classification only given what? Only the blood and lymph. See here only the word given what? Blood and lymph. Clear? Now, second thing, that is what? Supportive connective tissue. See, here I'm going to next classification. Here is what? Supportive connective tissue. See, another, this connective tissue further be classified into which one? Supportive connective tissue. See what I'm writing here? Another one, that is what? Supportive connective tissue. So see, I'm going to write here. Which one classification? Yes, connective tissue. Connective tissue, my dear. Okay, this connective tissue further, that is what? Second. This one is what? Second. And what the second here? See, second here is what? Supportive connective tissue. Clear? So I'm going to write here what? Supportive connective tissue, my dear. Clear? So if I'm saying here about this supportive connective tissue, it means that this supportive connective tissue means what? The tissue which gives supports to our body. And here the two things that give support. Number one is what, my dear? Number one is what? Cartilage. Number one is what? Cartilage. And second one is what, my dear? Bone. Second one is what, my dear? Here, bone. Clear? So there are two things, that is what gives support to the connective tissue. One is what? Cartilage. Second one is what? Bone, my dear. Now, after knowing this thing, the supportive connective tissue, another connective tissue is what? Dense connective tissue. What I'm saying? Dense connective tissue. So dense connective tissue, next one, at the third classification, that is what? Dense connective tissue. See, this further, my dear, this dense connective tissue further be divided. How many parts, my dear? See, this dense connective tissue further be divided into two parts, that is dense regular and dense irregular. We go through in details. Here what? Regular dense, and second one is what, my dear? Irregular dense. Second one is what? Irregular dense, my dear. Clear? So see what I'm saying here. One is what? Dense. Second one is what? Second not dense. Further divided into two parts, that is regular and irregular dense. We know these all things in details, but here the only note about what? Classification. After this further this connective tissue further classified into what? Third part, that is loose connective tissue. And these loose connective tissue further be divided. See, third one is what? Third one is clear. Fourth one is what? Loose connective tissue. What I'm saying? Loose connective tissue. And see, this loose connective tissue, my dear, this loose connective tissue further be divided into two parts, that is areolar and adipose. What I'm saying? This further be divided into how many parts? Two parts. That is areolar, and second one is what, my dear? Adipose. Is that clear? The loose connective tissue further be classified into how many parts? Two. One is areolar, second one is what? Adipose connective tissue. And finally, the fifth one is, that is the classification is neural animal tissue further classified into what? Neural. And you all know that this neural connective tissue classified into how many parts? Number one, neuron, and that is what? Neuroglia. What I'm saying? Neuroglia. So see this one here. I'm going to write neural. See, nervous tissue. No? This is the fifth, nervous tissue. This nervous tissue further classified into how many parts, my dear? Number one, that is what? Neuron. And second one is what? Neuroglia. What I'm saying? Neuroglia. Right? And this neuroglia, my dear, further classified. See, neuroglia. So neuroglia is not further classified. Neuroglia or neuroglial cells. Neuron having three parts, that is cell body, dendrons, and axon. See what I'm saying here? Here, neuron divided into three parts. That is dendron. Second one is what? Axon. And third one is what, my dear? Cell body. Is that clear? So see, here this one thing is clear. So there are three: cell body, dendron, and axon, my dear. Clear? So here that cell body, dendron, and axon. So this one is the classification, my dear. So again, I'm going to repeat here that what the classification is here. See, here this animal tissue further be classified into how many parts? Four parts. No? Yes. One is epithelial tissue, second muscular tissue, third one is connective tissue, and fourth one is what? Neural tissue. Okay. And this further epithelial tissue further be classified into how many parts? Two parts, simple and compound. Right? Simple divided into five parts: squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium, ciliated epithelium, or glandular epithelium. Compound further not divided. Muscular connective tissue be divided into how many parts? Three parts, that is striated, unstriated, and cardiac. Right? Now, the time to know here, connective tissue. Connective tissue, the first one is what? That is fluid connective tissue. Right? In a fluid connective tissue, my dear, fluid connective tissue divided into two parts. Number one is blood, and second one is what? Lymph. So in a blood further classified into two parts, that is plasma and formed elements. Plasma divided into three parts: water, inorganic, and organic, and formed elements divided into three parts, that is RBC, WBC, and platelets. Now, next, after this, the connective tissue further divided into second one, that is what? Supportive connective tissue. This supportive connective tissue divided into two parts, that is cartilage and what? Bone, my dear. Right? Now, third one is what? Dense connective tissue. Dense further divided into two parts, that is regular and irregular dense. Fourth one is what? Loose connective tissue. Loose connective tissue further divided into how many parts? Areolar and adipose. Clear? Clear? So this one is not fifth. This one is what, my dear? This one is fourth, because the animal tissue, the classification is, it is what? Fourth, my dear. Okay, this one is fourth, nervous tissue, and this nervous tissue classified into two parts, that is neuron and neuroglia. And neuron having classification what? Three, that is dendron, axon, and cell body, my dear. Correct? So these all are the what? The classification, my dear. These all are the what? Classification. Clear? Now, the time here to go through the NCERT in a short brief that what the structural organization in animals, my dear. Okay. So now here I'm going to check all that very things that whatever the things is given in NCERT also, my dear. Okay. So see here what the things is written here, my dear. See, this one is very important to know. That what the important to know, my dear, here that see what I'm going to tell you here. See first. Here I'm going to tell you about the NCERT. This one is the PDF of NCERT, Chapter 7, Structural Organization in Animals, my dear. Clear? So see, in this very thing, what we should have to be know about the tissue. Which one tissue? Animal tissue, my dear. Okay. So see, if I'm saying you about that the tissue, it means what? You know what? Here am I using highlighter. Which one color? This one color. Okay. This one color. See? Right? Okay. Now see. Clear? Now see, if I'm saying about the body of simple organisms, what I'm saying, the body of simple organisms, and you know that simple organisms which have what not very complex, there all the metabolic activities performed very simple. So that's why I'm saying what simple organisms. Getting? So simple organisms what like Hydra that is made up of what different types of cells. You know, in simple organisms I'm saying they're made up of what different type of cells, and that very number of cells in each type can be in thousands. And you know, so in the same way the human body is what very complex. So that's why I'm saying here it is composed of billion of cells. What I'm saying here, billion of cells, and this billion of cells to perform what various function. Clear? So how did these cells in the body work together? Because there are different cells unite together, they need form tissue. Na? So how this different type of cells unite together to form tissue, and this very composed of billion cells perform various function, my dear. Let's see in multicellular organisms, because we all are what multicellular organisms, and in this very multicellular organisms a group of similar cell along with the intercellular substances. You know the intercellular substances, the substances which is present in between the cell is known as what intracellular substances, and this very intracellular substances perform a specific function. What I'm saying, specific function. Such an organization is called what tissue. So here in previous mind map I was also told you about the tissue, my dear, that the tissue is nothing, just it is a group of cell. Correct? The group of cell to perform a specific function, then it is known as what, my dear? Tissue. Right? Now here see, the tissues are organized in a specific proportion and pattern to form an organ like a stomach, lung, heart, kidney. These all are the organ, and this very organ perform a specific function, my dear. So one or two or more organ perform commonly function by their physical and a chemical interactions. They together known as what, organ system. I was told in previous mind map, cell unite together to form organ, sorry, cell unite together to form tissue, and then after tissue organize to form organ, then organ system, organism, individual, population, community, then after community unite together to form what? Yes, ecosystem, and that very ecosystem unite together to form what? Biosphere, my dear. Clear? So after this organ system unite together to form what? Organisms. But what the organ system is here? Here the digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system. Yes or no? Cell, group of cell to form tissue, then after organ, and then after what? Organ system. And this has split up the work in the way that exhibit division of labor. What I'm saying? Division of labor. So division of labor means that what? Here I'm saying that each and every organ perform definite function, and whatever the function performed within our body, they all are responsible for their own self. Yes or no? So heart is main function is to what? To pump the blood. Clear? So here the heart is only responsible to pump the blood. Okay. But now the lungs is responsible to what? To purify the blood. Yes or no? Getting what I'm saying or not? And the kidney is also a filtration, which will also help in the filtration, right? So filter the waste material, whatever the content in a blood. So each and every different organs perform different function. So how this all this function will perform? This function will perform by the uniting of this very organ system, my dear. Correct? Now, the time to know here about the organ and organ system. Let's see. Let's see. Here first, before we have to move ahead, here we have must to be clear here that the organ system is split up work in the way that exhibit division of layer. What I'm saying, division of layer, and contribute to the survival of the body as a whole. And you all know that this survival of a whole is a very important to know, my dear. Clear? So how the survival of the body as a whole? Let's see first. That is what first, organ and organ system. See, see the basic tissue as we have learned in the earlier classes, because the tissue we have earlier studied in class 9th also, and here we see what in class 11th also, organized to form organ, which in turn associate to form organ system in the multicellular organisms. There's something now. The first, that is what, cell, then after organized to form tissue, then after organized to what form? Organ system. So such an organization is essential for more efficient and better coordinated activities. So if I'm saying here, my dear, that if every organization unite together, they need perform efficient and better coordination activities. And you all know that whenever we walking on road, there are so many muscular activities also be there. Okay, so only the muscular activities performing there? No, there is also the mind also coordinating there. Yes or no? There also the muscles is also coordinating there. Yes or no? To see what I'm saying, to perform any activities, there must be a coordination of one to another. Without coordination, that is very whatever the things we perform in our daily lives, it is not easy, my dear. Clear? So the various activities, whatever we perform in our daily life, they can work coordinated with one another. So now see, this coordinated activities of millions of cells, my dear, I'm saying, constituting an organisms. Now, see, after knowing this all things, see here one example here is also that is given. See, organ in our body is made up of one or more type of tissue. Clear? Take one example. Take example of our heart. Clear? And this heart consists of what? All four type of tissue. You know what the all four type of tissue? That is epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and what, my dear? Neural tissue. See, clear? 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 So this one is very important to know. Epithelial, connective, muscular, and neural tissue. Here, in previous slides, I was told you the classification. Clear? So now the thing is to be here. Notice that what we should have to be study here in this very structural organization in animals. Here in a structural organization of animals, here we should have to be what know about, or we have to notice here about the complexity in organ and the organ system, my dear. Clear? But now the question is here, how, my dear? Let's see here this one thing. So here the morphology refers to the study to form an externally visible feature. See what I'm saying here? Externally visible features. So see, if I'm saying here about the externally visible features, it means what? It means what, my dear? It means that we should have to be only know the external features. Clear? But if I'm saying here about in the case of plants, what I'm saying earlier, in case of plants or microbes, the terms morphology precisely means only this. Clear? So in case of animals, this refers to external appearance of the organ. If I am saying to learn about the basic structure of the animals, so here animals refers to the external appearance organ or parts of the body. The word anatomy conventionally is used for the study of morphology of internal organs. See what I'm saying? If anybody can say about the anatomy, it means what? It means what? The study of morphology of internal organ. Morphology of what? Internal organs in the animals. Clear? So we will learn morphology as well as what? Anatomy of what? Frog. But my dear, the frog is what reduced in your syllabus. Clear? So there is no need to know here about the frog, my dear. Correct? Correct? Yes, this one is what? Reduced syllabus, right? Yes. So here what we should have to be know about the cockroach. About the what? Cockroach. Any cockroach anatomy we should have to be know here. Clear? Yes, my dear. So see, this one is the diagram of cockroach that is given in your NCERT also, my dear. See, this one is the diagram. Am I right? This one is the diagram, the whole the diagram. See, this one is a diagram. Diagrammatic representation of internal organ of frog showing complete digestive system. So see, in this very mind map, I'm not going to tell you about in details, my dear. Yes, you know why? Because this one is the not a little bit information that I will give you here. Here, the so many complex information is here, and if you go through the details in my video, then I will tell you about this one thing. But see here what I'm going to tell you. Here only I'm going to tell you about the things that what is given here. Okay, so see here animal tissue be classified, classification is clear. So what we should have to be read here only? Cockroach. Clear? Yes, cockroach. And there is what some morphology of cockroach is given here. Here the morphology of cockroach, here is given is what? Anatomy of cockroach, right? Clear? Is that clear? So now see, before we have to be move ahead, my dear, here that is very important to know here that what? Junction, animal tissue, epithelial tissue having that word junction. You know the junction is what? Junction is a such a part which join one to another. So junction of three types. One is tight junction, adhering junction, and gap junction. So tight junction, adhering junction, and gap junction. This one is classification of epithelial. Okay, and this one is the more information that you have to be know here. Getting what I'm saying? I'm saying here that the epithelial tissue classified into simple, simple tissue, compound, simple and compound, and then after this animal tissue classified into what? Muscular, connect, muscular, and then after connective, and then after neural. Clear? But this epithelial further be classified into how many parts? That is simple, compound, and junction, my dear. One thing is that is left here, junction, because junction is only you have to be studied in class 11th, my dear. And junction is how many types? Three types. That is tight junction, adhering junction, or gap junction, my dear. So see, if I'm saying about this one is thing that the tight junction, adhering junction, or gap junction means what? It means that, my dear, if I'm saying about the connection between one organ to the another organ, or the one organ system to the another organ system, there is to be what? A connectivity. Okay, is that clear? So see, come to the NCERT, and here we know about what the anatomy. Clear? Little bit information. Okay, so if I'm going to tell you about the what? Anatomy, my dear. So see what the what here we have to be know. The first thing that is very important to know here that the body cavity. Uh, I'm not going to tell you about the anatomy of frog. This one is the internal organ of the frog, my dear, not cockroach. So frog is deleted, my dear. Frog is what? Deleted, my dear. Is that clear? So that's why I'm saying. So this one is deleted from your chapter, reproductive system. And these all are given about the what? Yes, these all are given about the frog. Clear? So because this one thing is reduced in your topic, so that's why the thing is not to be clear here. Okay. Now see in a mind map. So what the thing is given in a mind map, my dear? See, the first thing that is very, very important to know here that this one thing, let see here. If I'm saying here about the structural organization in animals and Here we should have to be know about which one. That is what? That is a morphology one. And then after the word, yes, anatomy. Let's see. Here the first, the cockroach. You know the cockroach is what? Peripheral americana. The scientific name of cockroach is what? Periplanata americana. Is the what? The scientific name, my dear. Get what I'm saying? Be seated, huh? Hello, sir. That is what Periplanetana americana is the scientific name of what, my dear? Cockroach. Getting? So if I'm saying here that Periplanetana americana is the scientific name, then see here what I'm going to tell you. Here it means that this one is the scientific name, and this scientific name consists two parts. Number one is that is what genus. Number one, that is what, my dear? Genus. And then after this one is what? Species. And you already know that if we have writing a scientific name of any organisms, then first that is what genus, and then that is what species, my dear. So whenever I'm writing a scientific name, the first genus, which is in always in capital letter, right? And after that, whenever I'm going to write this name of that very species, then we must have to be write what in a small letter. So see and observe here that the genetics genus is written here capital letter or not. Definitely. And see here the species is written in a small letter or not. Yes, definitely. So see, the cockroach, the scientific name is what here? Periplanata americana. So now see, the first thing that is given here, the circulatory system. And you know that the circulatory system is how many types? Two types. Very good. So see, if I'm going to tell you about the circulatory system, see first here, I'm going to write here what? Circulatory system. Circulatory system. See, what I'm going to say here. I'm going to say here that circulatory system, it means what? The flow of the blood. And you know that whenever we need energy, so how we need energy? We need energy in the form of food. And after that, whenever we eat the food, they what? The digestion that take place. Then after the absorption and the assimilation will take place. And after that, whatever the assimilated food, where it goes inside the blood, and that blood give up what? Energy to each and every part of the cells, my dear. Getting what I'm saying? So see, in the same way, how this cockroach get energy. So in the same way, the cockroach also get energy in the form of what? Blood, my dear. Clear? So see, what I'm saying here about the circulatory system. It means what? The passing of the blood from one region to the another region. And how the circulatory system? Here the circulatory system, you know, there are two types, my dear. One is what? One is what? Open circulatory system. One is what? Open type circulatory system. And second one is what? Second one is what, my dear? Closed type circulatory system. Getting what I'm saying? So if I'm saying the open type circulatory system, and here is one, here I'm going to one word, that is anthe. See what I'm saying? Anthe. So remember this one word, and you know about which organisms having what? Open circulatory system and which one have closed circulatory system. Do you want to know here? Let's see. Here, one is what? A. A stand for what? Arthropoda. What I'm writing here? I'm writing here A for what? Arthropoda. N stand for here what? Non-cephalopod mollusca. In animal kingdom, you have to be knowing this one thing. Non-cephalopod. What? Non-cephalopod mollusca. And what T stand for? T stand for tunicata. Right? What H stand for? H stand for, my dear, hemichordata. What I'm saying here? Hemichordata. What E stand for, my dear? E stand for echino. What I'm saying? Echinodermata. Is the thing is clear? Thing is clear here or not? Tell me first. Number one is what? A. Arthropoda. Number N. The number second is what? N for stand for non-cephalopod mollusca. T for tunicata. H for what I am saying? Hemichordata. And E for what? Echinodermata. So these all having what? Open type circulatory system. And the rest all have what? Closed type circulatory system. So see, If I'm saying here that the open type circulatory system means what? Open type circulatory system means what? It means that the blood doesn't passes through blood vessels. Getting what I'm saying? So if I'm saying here that the open type circulatory system, it means what? It means that the blood never passes through blood vessels. It directly poured into their body cells or the tissues. But whenever I'm saying here about the closed circulatory system, it means what? It means that the blood passes through blood vessels, my dear. That is artery, vein, and capillaries. So hope so you're getting this one point. Now see here. Here the circulatory system is which one type? Here the open type circulatory system. Here the open type circulatory system means what? Have poorly developed blood vessels. See here. So here open type circulatory system, it doesn't contain a what? It doesn't contain a what? A blood vessels, my dear. Getting? Now see. Digestive system. What the digestive system is here in cockroach, my dear? In a digestive system, here is what? The three parts is be here. One is what? Foregut. Second one is what? Midgut. And third one is what, my dear? Hindgut. Getting what I'm saying? Foregut आगे का रीजन, मिडगट बीच का रीजन और हाइंडगट कहाँ का है रीजन, पीछे का रीजन. Clear? So when we go through in the details, then we have to be know there all the things. In the respiratory system, here is what trachea and what spiracles is here. The trachea and spiracles are the what organs from where we what respire, my dear. Getting what I'm saying? Respiration, and you all know that this respiration will take place with the help of the what respiratory system, my dear. So in this very respiratory system, there is what a trachea, and second one is what spiracles, and the body surface is mainly responsible for which one thing? To respire, that take up the what? Oxygen, stick up the ears, and after that what they exhale. Right? Getting what I'm saying? Now see what the morphology. So if we study the external features of that very organisms, that is what morphology. So in morphology further divided to how many parts? Three parts. Number one is what? Head, my dear. Number one is what? Head. Number second is what? Thorax. Number third one is what, my dear? Abdomen. Getting what I'm saying? So see, thorax further be divided into how many parts? Three parts. That is what? Prothorax. Second one is what? Mesothorax. And third one is what? Metathorax. Clear? Clear. So this one is the main part. This one is the main reason of the word thorax, my dear. So see, I am going to tell you about this one, the prothorax. Pro means what? Pro means what? The first. It means that the thorax, that is what you say the neck. This prothorax region is a what? A part from where they have glutting the what? Complex substances, and that prothorax goes where? Mesothorax, and then after mesothorax it goes where? That is metathorax, my dear. So whenever I'm going go in a details this one topic, my dear, then I will tell you about these all very things. Okay, getting what I'm saying? Then I will tell you about these all very things. But according to the NCERT, my dear, here only we should have to be studied what the thing is given here. Wait for a moment. Here the frog is given, and you already know that for the NEET 2024 aspirants, this frog syllabus is what? Reduced by it. So that's why I'm not telling to you here, okay? Because this one is the reduced syllabus. So in a detailed video, I will show you about the what? Yes, that is what? Cockroach, my dear. Right? Right? Is that clear? Is that clear that what I'm saying? Very good. Yeah. So see here. So these all are the whole parts that is given here, right? Now, when we go through inner details, then I will tell you about the all the morphology as well as what anatomy of this very parts, my dear. Okay. So thank you for watching. Thank you. Have a nice day. Take care.